So, John and I and a few others were just talking,
Sure.
and
We were.
one of the questions we were asking each other was, what's your temperament like?
Yeah.
If you had a deadline, do you operate well with the deadline, or do you procrastinate, or... And you were mentioning something that you watched.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video by, it's like PewDiePie was commenting on someone else's YouTube video, and
I watched it.
this guy was talking about, he's a Bollywood actor who sadly passed away, but he was saying how he realized that instead of always looking into the future, where your future self is enjoying life, it's like, in the future, if I work hard now, I'll have a Ferrari, life will be great.
Yeah.
In the future, if I work hard now, I'll have a mansion, life will be great. Whereas he's wondering, why shouldn't life be great now? Like, how do you be content in the now?
Yeah.
So my question was basically, how do you don't just give up on the future, because that's the question. What do? Do you give up on the future, enjoy everything right now, just say screw it all, I'm gonna have fun now?
Yeah.
Or do you, like, what do you do? How do you balance that out?
I don't have the answer.
I don't have the answer either. That's
So,
the big
okay, so
question.
let me play devil's advocate.
Go for it.
So let me argue against that point of view.
Sure.
If you just enjoyed life now,
Yeah.
and you didn't get a good education, and you didn't get a job, how would you be able to eat? Are you just going to be that one friend that scrounges off everyone else because he's a fun guy, but
Exactly.
eventually they get rid of him because he's just a tax?
Yeah. So
So how do you balance that? Do you have a proportion of having a bit of fun right now and a proportion of investing into your future?
I think it's also important to remember what sort of being satisfied and being successful in life is. Because he was saying the definition is recognition and money.
He was saying that was his
what he
old
thought.
definition.
His old definition was recognition and money. And then later on in life, he realized that the third ingredient was excitement.
Okay.
And being excited about what you're doing. And that was the pinnacle to his existence, basically.
Okay.
Was not so much as partying and whatever, that kind of fun, but the fun in which you excited about your life. Because I think that's, sorry, not cut you off, but that's a huge thing I see in other people, is they're not excited about their life. I mean, it's horrible to see when you look at people and it's like they're 20 and they're going to be 40 in 20 more years.
Yeah.
But in there's no excitement. Nothing's changing. So it's like, how do you make that excitement? Or how do you, it's a...
So, is he saying enjoy everything you do, even if it's boring? And be present in that moment. And if you're washing dishes or sweeping the floor, that you make that something where you're present and you try and sweep the room as best as possible.
Yeah.
And make it a task and a goal and can I do it quicker tomorrow? Yeah. Or is he saying don't sweep the room if you don't find it enjoyable and just play Xbox all day because that's what you enjoy? What's he saying?
Most definitely not. Because admit it, after 30 minutes of Xbox, you're not having the time of your life.
I don't know. Some people can play games
it's
all
great,
day.
It's great, but no one finishes a whole day of playing Xbox alone and says that was the most memorable time in my life.
I don't know. I've played games. I played Zelda.
It's been great.
And I'll play for 2 weeks.
It's been great, but
and love it.
It's like, how, yeah, I mean, there you go. For different people, there's different levels of content in what you do.
Okay.
So, for example, obviously it's important to make the horrible things you need to do enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to, it's not related to the chore or what you're doing or the work you're doing. I think it should be within yourself, a sort of enjoyment of just life in general.
Okay.
Like, for example, when I was, how was I? Dude, I'm only 18. When I was like 10, 11,
all those
12,
years ago.
so long ago, when we were in South Africa, we were like, the situation we were in was so much worse, right? Like, really bad. We came here, life's great. We're living in a tropical island, we got the beach. My brother and I, we go paddleboarding, kayak. It's like Wii Sports Resort Island, literally. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was with one of my sisters and we were talking, she's complaining, COVID, blah, 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 whatever. I was like, what are you complaining about? Look where we are, look what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is 10 years ago, this is all we wanted, right?
Wow.
You wanted education, got into uni. You wanted this, got it. Like, all my brother and I wanted computer games. Now we have computer games.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to realize, like, this is, if you're happy with not what you have, but I think once you realize that, yeah, it's like, You live now, but also be excited in the now. Like, be excited with what you're doing.
So back to your
I'm
original
going in
point.
circles.
No, I agree.
Absolute circles,
I think you're on. I think you're going on circles because you're right on something. So back to the original question. Is there a balance, or is it a completely different mode of thought between living now, presently, enjoying the moment, making the most of every moment, and investing into your future? And doing things you don't enjoy so your future's better. Like, how do you balance those two things?
I think in the past, whenever I had to do something I didn't like, I was very, I hate it, I don't want to do it, life sucks, it's the worst.
Yeah.
But more recently, over the last year or so, I've been realizing that even when I'm doing stuff I hate, I'm still enjoying life in a way.
Okay.
So just because I have to do some dishes or something doesn't mean I'm hating. Like, in the past, that was to me like, I had to do dishes, this sucks, life sucks, how's it enjoyable? But the more further I go, I realize like it's still the life I'm living is enjoyable. So the space, like mentally, I guess, or whatever I'm in, is really positive, really happy. I'm excited about life. So when I go to do the dishes, even though the dishes suck, my mentality just goes through it. I'm like, let's get the dishes done. I mean, sure, I might fight about who's going to do the dishes for a while, but afterwards, it's like, then we just keep going. It's happy times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing uni classes in Zoom. It's the worst. We're just sitting there for 3 hours, just like yawning. But I'm still like positive. I'm like, yeah, this is cool, great, whatever. So I think mentally, once you get that switch, because maybe a year and a half ago, that's what happened for me. It just clicked. I was like, this is amazing. Life's great. So I don't know if that's what that is, but yeah, I think it's rare. I've seen very few people who have that positive way. It's like stuff happens. Like, for example, somebody will break their leg or something like bad, not awful, not death, but and it's just, that's it.
Yeah.
They go from happy to sad to, it's like, I don't know how you portray that positive thing to people. I try sometimes, but it's hard.
It is very rare. Most people default to the lowest level of excitement, the lowest level of passion, because actually it's quite easy. I actually think when you have a default that is excited and passionate and wants to learn and grow, that it's extra work to be miserable.
Yes.
But you have to make sure that that's your default.
Yeah. Lots of people have told me like, oh, you can't be. When I've been like, oh, I want to be happy all the time. And people are like, no, you can't be happy all the time. To have highs, you got to have lows. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes it sucks, but why would you live waiting for the happiness to happen? Like, just make your life happy. Like, why would you go, okay, to be happy, I have to be sad. So let's be sad now. And then something happens, I'm happy, and back to sad. And like, I don't know, just to me that makes like absolutely no sense.
When Bonnie and I got married,
I'm not married.
she had a mentality that you take a holiday once a year. And for whatever reason, her parents did that and they could afford it, and that's great. But for whatever reason, our family almost never went on holidays.
Relatable.
To be fair, we did live right next to the beach, 5 minutes walk from the beach. We didn't realize it at the time, but we had like the idyllic environment. It was golden. And we used to homeschool, so we'd take Fridays off and go to the beach. It was absolutely fantastic. We just didn't realize it was that good. So when we got married, Bonnie wanted to go on holiday. I was like, why would you want to go on holiday? I didn't get it. And my mentality was, you take a holiday every day.
Okay.
Don't live this boring, miserable, horrible, settled life so you can have 2 weeks off a year.
Yeah.
Every day, have some time off.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you're doing, and then you won't need a holiday.
Yeah.
Ideally. Saying that. We took 2 months off last year.
Traveling, like that's the thing. If you go traveling, sure, that's another thing. But I get that. You shouldn't have to build up horrible days, waiting for the holiday that just gets followed by more days. I mean, that's what I realized at school. It's like the whole week you hate life until you get like Saturday. You have 1 day of fun and then it's hate life again. It's like you got to make those days equally as fun as the Saturday. Yeah. So you've got to really just, I mean, it does take effort to be happy. It genuinely does. Like when because people are moody, man. People like, especially in Hong Kong, people are not happy people. So it takes effort to like portray and be like, I'm not faking it, but it does take effort to still be positive around really, really moody people. So yeah, but yeah.
So do you think it's worth going through hardship? Do you think it's worth going through things that are difficult? Or do you think you should
Personally,
avoid that in life?
I had no choice.
Okay.
I mean, I would say I'm still my younger youth, my pre-youth. I don't know, my like before the teens, like up until like 13 was pretty crappy. Like it wasn't great. So I think that's really given me a perspective, like a really good perspective of what. I mean, it's like the time it was like, oh, what about the starving kids in Africa? But legitimately, like that's horrible.
Yeah.
Like in South Africa now with COVID, it's not pretty. And here we are just sitting happy.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, but then they're still upset. It's like, what more? Like you've got to find that in you and realize this is,
Yeah.
you got to be content.
Do you
gotta be
think if
happy.
you were stuck in South Africa in the situation that many people are, do you think you could find happiness?
Very hard, very hard. I think it's a big part of the transition to like realize that contentment. I think that's a big part of being content with how life is. And not always, it could be. Because, I mean, realistically, it most likely won't be. So, I mean, now is, it's the greatest time, so.
So, going back to the original question, you just started university, you just got accepted this week.
Yes, sir.
Which is fantastic, well done. Do you invest into some of the units and some of the topics that you don't really enjoy? Do you do your homework? Do you put your effort in? Or do you go, listen, I'm just going to enjoy the moment?
I don't know. You still work. You still put your effort in.
Okay.
I think work ethic is very important. Realistically.
Why?
Why? Because even though you're enjoying the moment right now, it's still important to. Because if you don't let's say, for example, this is me personally. If I have a class and the teacher says to me, John, do the homework, and I don't do the homework, it's going to, in the back of my head, I'm still going to be like, I didn't do that homework. Kind of worried about it. Should I do it? And that makes the like unenjoyability of that homework tenfold.
Yeah, it does.
So get it done and then keep going. So
Okay.
I know I'm saying I'm going in absolute circles here. I'm saying don't do it, don't do it. Don't take advice from me. I don't know. But yeah, I think still working hard is very good. It's important. So.
And is it worth it? Because you've got opportunities now where you could go down career paths that you will never enjoy.
Oh, most definitely.
So, do you think it's worth going down those career paths so
No.
that you could have 2 days a week where you do have some semblance of fun?
Not at all. I used to think, and to a degree I still in the back of my mind think that I wouldn't care if I had no time for friends, family, anything. If I was making 100k, 200k a month, I'd
Right.
be happy. But realistically, money isn't everything. I mean, it's so easy to say that, like money isn't everything, and to some people, money is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, food and that's like so hard to get. But I think once you have food, water, housing, that's
Yeah.
I mean that's it. That's what you got like within personally and mentally. I think it's more important to have that.
I think that once you get to a certain survivability,
Yep.
once you get beyond
Exactly.
that survive point, money actually makes very little
Very,
difference
very
to your
little
life.
difference.
But getting to that survive point where you can
Yeah.
pay your rent and buy your food
Yeah.
and you've got some sort of financial security, then money is actually very high on people's agenda. And for some people, it should even be higher than on their agenda. They should get a financial education. But once you make that
Yeah.
break-even number,
Yeah.
you could add millions onto that. It doesn't mean that much to people.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of rich people who are unhappy.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think it's hard. It's really hard to tell people to be positive because it's like for example, my brother's incredible at maths. He's so good at maths. He just got the top in our school, like out of not to be like he beat Chinese kids, and they're so
They're
good.
brilliant.
Like it's insane. They study
Yeah.
every day, and it's like him telling me, just be good at maths. Just get good at it. Like just
Yeah.
do it. I can do it. You can do it. It's like it's so different for everyone.
Yeah.
So in my perspective, I've always been a very positive person, and I've always just seen the positivity. It's like, if I fail, so what? I keep. It's like that's why I'm not that great at school. Because I get an F. It's like, I'll keep going. But I think it's really important to just be content, like where you are now.
Yeah.
Even if it's not great, even if you're earning $5 an hour, for now, just in the moment, it'll be so much better to just be content and be happy. Which is, again, I can't just tell anybody to be happy. But then to keep spending time worrying about the future. It's going to happen. You can't
Yeah.
change it. I've realized that I feel my future's going to be great. So even if I do mess up here and there, just keep going to some sort of straight line, you're fine. So
I'd love for you to speak to Seamus about this, because he said to us the other day, to me and Jaden, he said when he left university, he thought he was going to be a millionaire. He thought it was just going to happen, and he had such a positive expectation.
oh dear.
And but it's interesting because both of you have a similar temperament in the fact that you're very happy-go-lucky, and you have a much more relaxed demeanor in life.
Yeah.
I'm much more serious. I'm much more sort of, no, you've got to
Yeah.
work hard now so you can play hard
Yeah,
later
yeah.
type thing. And I've recently, in the last year and a half, have been trying to change my mindset
Yeah.
on that, to actually take more time, to enjoy life a little more, to go slower, to understand that we still got decades left on the
Yeah, so
on,
it's a
on
while.
the clock, and so we don't have to do everything tomorrow. And so I think there's some healthy perspectives
Yeah.
that you two could discuss. Would be very interesting.
Yeah, disclaimer before we end though. It's very important. Don't just throw your life away. Still study hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying some things, but you actually are working hard. You are going
Yeah.
to uni. You are getting jobs.
Yeah. It's like, just be happy. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Be
Life
happy
will be
now.
fine. Trust somebody.
Thanks, John.
No worries.